Jesus said to his disciples, "You know that after 2 days the Passover is coming, and the Son of Man will be delivered up to be crucified." Now the chief priests and the elders of the people gathered in the palace of the high priest and plotted together in order to arrest Jesus by stealth and to kill him. But they said, "Not during the feast, lest there be an uproar among the people." Then one of Jesus' disciples, Judas Iscariot, he went to the chief priests and said, "What will you give me if I deliver him over to you?" They said, 30 pieces of silver. From that moment, he sought an opportunity to betray Jesus. Now, on the first day of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus saying, "Where will you have us prepare for you to eat the Passover?" Jesus said, "Go into the city to a certain man and say to him, 'The teacher says, my time is at hand. We will keep the Passover at your house with my disciples.'" The disciples did as Jesus had directed, and they prepared the Passover. When it was evening, Jesus reclined at the table with the 12. He said to them, "I have earnestly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I tell you, I will not eat of it again until it is fulfilled in the kingdom of God." Jesus was troubled in his spirit and testified, "Truly I say to you, one of you will betray me. One who is eating with me." They were sorrowful and began to say to him one after another, "Is it I, Lord?" "Is it I?" "Am I the one?" Jesus said, "He who has dipped his hand in the dish with me will betray me. The Son of Man goes as it is written of him, but woe to that man by whom the Son of Man is betrayed. It would have been better for that man if he had not been born." One of his disciples whom Jesus loved was reclining at the table close to Jesus. So Simon Peter motioned him to ask Jesus of whom he was speaking. The disciple, leaning back against Jesus, said to him, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus answered, "It is he to whom I will give this morsel of bread when I have dipped it." When he had dipped the morsel, he gave it to Judas Iscariot. After he had taken the morsel, Satan entered into him, and Jesus said to him, "What you're going to do, do quickly." Judas immediately left. It was night. Now, as they were eating, Jesus took bread, and after blessing it, he broke it, and he gave it to his disciples and said, "Take, eat. This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." And he took a cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them, saying, "Drink of it, all of you. This is my blood of the covenant, which is poured out for many, for the forgiveness of sins. I tell you, I will not drink of it again, of this fruit of the vine, until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." Jesus went with his disciples to a place called Gethsemane, And he said to them, "Sit here while I go over there and pray." He took with him Peter and James and John, and he began to be greatly distressed and troubled. And he said to them, "My soul is very sorrowful, even to the point of death. Remain here and watch." Going a little farther, he fell on the ground and he prayed that if it were possible, the hour might pass from him. He said, "Father, all things are possible for you. Remove this cup from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but your will be done." Jesus returned and he found them sleeping. "Simon, are you asleep? Are you asleep?" You could not watch for 1 hour? Watch and pray that you may not be tempted. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. Again, he went away and prayed, saying the same words, and there appeared to him an angel from heaven, strengthening him. And being in agony, he prayed even more earnestly, and his sweat became like drops of blood falling to the ground. Again, he returned, and he found them sleeping. They did not know what to answer him. Leaving them again, he went away and prayed for a third time, saying the same words again. Then he came to his disciples and said to them, "The hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise. My betrayer is at hand." While he was still speaking, there came a crowd, and the man called Judas, one of the 12, was leading them. Judas, having procured a band of soldiers and some officers from the chief priests and the Pharisees, went with lanterns and torches and weapons. Now the betrayer had given them a sign, saying, "The one I will kiss, he's the man. Seize him and lead him away under guard." He drew near to Jesus to kiss him, but Jesus said, "Judas, you would betray the Son of Man with a kiss?" He came up to Jesus and said, "Greetings, Rabbi." And he kissed him. Jesus said, "Friend, do what you came to do." Jesus, knowing all that would happen to him, came forward and said to them, "Whom do you seek?" "Whom do you seek?" They said, "Jesus of Nazareth." Jesus said, "I am he." They drew back and they fell to the ground. So he asked them again, "Whom do you seek?" Jesus of Nazareth. He answered, "I told you that I am he. So if you seek me, let these men go." This was to fulfill the word that had been spoken, "Of those whom you gave me, I have lost not one." And the soldiers rushed him, seizing him. Peter took out a sword, cutting off the ear of the servant. Jesus said, "Put your sword back. For all those who take the sword will perish by the sword. Do you think that I cannot appeal to my Father, and he would at once send more than 12 legions of angels? But how then should the scriptures be fulfilled? And it must be so." Jesus touched the ear of the servant and healed him. Then Jesus said to the chief priests and the officers of the temple and the elders who had come out against him, "Have you come out as against a robber, with swords and clubs? When I was with you day after day in the temple, you did not lay hands on me. But this is your hour, and the power of darkness." Jesus' disciples left him, and they fled. The band of soldiers and their captain and the officers of the Jews arrested Jesus and bound him and led him to the high priest. The high priest then questioned Jesus about his disciples and his teaching, and Jesus answered, "I have spoken openly to the world. I have always taught in the synagogues and in the temple, where all the Jews come together. I have said nothing in secret. Why do you ask me? Ask those who have heard me. They know what I have said." One of the officers struck him in the face. "Is that how you speak to the high priest?" Jesus answered him, "If what I said is wrong, bear witness to the wrong. But if what I said is right, why do you strike me?" Now the chief priests and the whole council were seeking false testimony against Jesus that they might put him to death. But they found none. Many false witnesses came forward. "This man said, 'I'm able to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days.'" Destroy the temple of God and rebuild it in 3 days? The high priest stood up and said, "Have you no answer to make? What is it that these men testify against you?" But Jesus remained silent. Again, the high priest asked him, "Are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed?"